to another exciting episode of Deliberate Discussions. I am your co-host, Vicky Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Thadrick Parker.
Thadrick, how's everything been with you this week?
Everything is great. I can't complain. It's been, work has been working. Of course, life has been lifing. But it is what it is. I mean, that's what we have to do in order to
Yeah,
maintain this thing we
I
call
see you
life.
have your Christmas tree up.
Yeah, look at we in the
I
Christmas spirit.
see.
Christmas runs in this house from November 1st through December 26th. December 26th, everything is coming down and packed up back in the closet.
I feel you, friend. I
Yeah.
feel you. I'm so excited to be back because we took off last Wednesday. And I just want to say, thank you so much to our viewers for being so understanding. It's just that we had so much conflict with our work schedules, with it being month end and everything. So that was kind of crazy.
Correct.
But we do have some exciting news. If you all could see at the bottom of our screen, Deliberate Discussions is now offering promotions and we're offering advertising. You can promote your business, you can promote a product, you can promote whatever event you have coming up, and we will run it for a price, of course. For pricing, please contact myself, Vicky Horton, at 561-325-1488. Or you can also send an email to deliberatenediscussions@gmail.com. We are so very excited for this, and I will give you all of the pricing breakdowns. You'll have packages to choose from, and we will definitely, not just on Wednesday nights, but we will definitely promote your business on our personal pages and also on our Deliberate Discussion page once it's back up and running. But we are just so excited for that.
Great. And so in lieu of that, we actually have our first promo. So our first business to advertise on Deliberate Discussions. If you are in the South Florida area and you're looking for printing, copy, or services, Maria Marsha Bean currently has her own company of doing just that. It's called Document Solutions, print and copy services. She offers a variety of services from print and copy, color, black and white copies, scanning emails, fax, making binders and manuals. She also offers notary services as well. So if you are interested in any of those services, feel free to reach out to Maria, and she would most definitely be happy to assist you with any of your service needs. Maria's contact number is 561-768-1446. Again, if you are in need, if you're in the South Florida area, if you need any printing and copy services, please reach out to Maria Marsha Bean at 561-768-1446. Thank you.
Congratulations, Maria. And we wish you all the best on Document Solutions print and copy services. Please, she's in the Palm Beach County area. Please call her, and whatever you need, she's there for you. Okay,
Yes,
so let's support our local community. We really appreciate that. And you
thank
heard it first from Deliberate Discussions. Okay, so Thadrick, wow.
Let's get into these deliberations.
Listen, I didn't put my contacts on. I gotta put my Tom Fords on tonight. Because these deliberations tonight.
Hey, Vicky, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to our producer Vincent. Unfortunately, he's not with us tonight.
Yes.
Life is lifing as well, and Vincent has some other stuff going on. But I do want to send Vincent a shout out. He's not with us tonight, but we're thinking about you and we love you, bro.
Yes, thank you so much, Vincent. We really miss you tonight. We're thinking about you, and we will definitely see you soon.
Correct.
Thank you so much for your support. Okay, so Thadrick, let's get up. Let's get into these discussions. First up, calm down, friend, because you get so excited about this discussion. First up on our docket, we have second up, because the first up was our promo. Correct. And our advertising. So whenever you want something advertised, Deliberate Discussions, we're your people. Second thing on the docket, the off-season elections took place yesterday.
Yes.
Listen, in at least, 37 states, Americans all over the place, they cast their votes on everything from governorship to local referendums. And now that all that dust has settled, Who came on top, the Democrats or the Republicans?
The,
Come on,
the
Patrick.
the Democrats most definitely came out victorious last night. And the thing about it is, a lot of people was not aware that there was an off-year election being held last evening for several different states. The state of Kentucky voted for governor. The Democrat Andy Beshear was reelected for governor there. The crazy thing about it is, Kentucky is a deep red state,
Mhm.
and the Democrat fortunately came out victorious in that election last night, by a huge margin. So that was great for the Democrats. In Virginia was a bloodbath last night.
Ooh, child.
The Democrats won. They kept hold of the Senate, and and they actually won the House. So the Democrats actually now control um, both governments in the state of Virginia. And the crazy thing about it is, the Virginia governor is a Republican, and he went on and on in this election about, abortion, and the 15-week ban that he was going to sign. And, he told the people that he was going to do this tax cut if they just voted and gave him, both chambers of government in Virginia and everything. And the folks didn't go for it. They was like, "Try, screw you. This is what we're doing. You're not going to fool us." And the people in Virginia came out victorious last night. Ohio was huge last night.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
the ballot in Ohio was the right to choose, the abortion right,
yep.
and the people spoke in
They
Ohio
did.
last night.
They
They
did.
meant business. And so Ohio now has to, change their constitution, and abortion is a right. It's and
Mhm,
you have
mhm.
and the funny thing is, Ohio is also a deep red state,
Right.
and there was so many counties in the state of Ohio that Donald Trump
Mhm.
won in the previous election
Yep.
and carried at high numbers. Those same counties
Mhm.
voted yes on this amendment for the Constitution for abortion rights. Not
Mhm.
only did they vote for abortion rights, they voted to legalize marijuana,
Yep.
recreational marijuana, in the state of Ohio as well. Um, Philadelphia.
Oh
First,
my God. I listen. I am so excited for Philadelphia. They
yes,
have elected their first female mayor. And
correct.
is she a black mayor?
And she's a black woman.
A black mayor, and she's a Democrat. So
Yep, Sherelle
come on,
Parker.
y'all got to give it up.
Yes, I was
Sherelle
proud to say.
Parker, congratulations. Oh my, I don't even live. I don't
Yeah,
even live there, but Philadelphia, I'm so y'all did that.
yeah, they did.
On a
And
great note, they did that.
yeah, her name is
Okay.
Sherelle Parker. She's probably my cousin, so I need to look her up. Like, so I'm very happy for
But
Phil.
listen, David O, who ran against her, he would
Uh-huh.
have also made history, but he didn't. Sorry, maybe next time.
And she
Um,
actually beat him by a very
he,
large margin. So,
yeah,
mhm.
David Ho, he's a Republican. He would have been the first Asian American
Okay.
to become mayor in Philadelphia. But she beat him out, and he's also a former colleague of hers at the Philadelphia City Council.
Okay.
And this is awesome. She's the 100th mayor of Philadelphia, a black female.
Correct. And then
That
also
is awesome.
in Pennsylvania, they actually elected a Democrat to the Supreme Court as well. So that was amazing. So last night was a great night. And it also showed one thing I do want to point out before we move on. CNN I was just so torn by this. They released this polling yesterday that
Mhm.
showed Trump being, slightly ahead of Biden and everything. And, everything was just in a frenzy. Like, Biden is, in trouble and things like that. And
Right.
um, I just found it just in poor taste that they did that. I've never been the one to believe in polls, because my thing is, who are these people that's taking these polls?
Right.
And as deeply rooted as I am in politics, I've never received a poll.
Mm.
So I did a little research last night, and these different polling companies, they pretty much select, like, 1,000 people to take these polls. Well,
Uh-huh.
it's millions of people in this country.
Wow.
Well, how could you put out a poll based on a very small percentage of people to say XYZ?
Right. You're
So I
absolutely
say
right.
that to say, people, when you see these polls, don't get discouraged, and and because I had to have this conversation with Josh last night, because he was divided may lose, and I said, what are you basing it on? Oh, I saw this poll, and so I had to break it down to him, like, don't believe these polls. These polls are based on a small demographic of people that's taken this, and that doesn't speak for the millions of people in this country.
Yeah.
So
I noticed that when I talked to you guys last night, I'm like, oh, he's kind of blah.
He was caught up in that. He was all in his feelings. I was like, get it together, please. Okay.
Yeah.
and so the election, the off year election last night was a great election, and I will say that the Democratic Party is charged, and I think that going into the presidential election for 2024, the abortion thing is going to be huge on the ballot for women's rights, and I'm a strong believer that no government, no man, nobody should be choosing for a woman what to do with her body.
Yes, I'm definitely pro-choice. I love you too, Bilal. Let me just read a comment from one of our viewers that goes back to
do you know who Bilal is?
Parker. He says, Bilal Williams says, but she trying to do that stop and frisk in Philly. I'm happy she got elected though.
Do you know who Bilal is?
No. Oh, I figured that. I love you, babe. You know what? You did tell me that too. Okay, so listen. So, like I said, congratulations, Mayor Cherelle Parker. We are so happy for you. Cedric, I'm disappointed in Mississippi. I mean, I'm not shocked.
I'm not disappointed in Mississippi at all, because you have to realize that it's Mississippi. It's the deep South. You look at the demographic of African Americans or Democrats in that particular state. Now, I will say there was an issue in the most highly populated county of African Americans where there were several issues as far as them running out of ballots. Now, who's to say, just by the percentage of what the incumbent governor won by, who's to say if they had those ballots available for those people that he would have actually pulled it off. I honestly think that it's going to take more effort from the Democratic convention to be on the ground, boots on the ground in that state, which will be very difficult. It's a huge hill to climb, because Mississippi is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the African Americans, they make up less than 4% of the population. I mean, it wasn't enough to keep the challenge alive, but at the same token, like I said, I'm just disappointed because I thought we could grow, or should I say evolve.
Correct.
From, the past, things that have happened in Mississippi. But one thing I did not like, Governor Tate Reeves, who won a second term there, he made the statement that his running opponent, Brandon Presley, is a band of radical Democrats who haven't won the governor's mansion in more than 2 decades. And
are you surprised?
I'm not surprised at him. Honestly, I'm not surprised at Governor Reeves, but for him to make that statement, like, I mean, you picking, bro. You picking.
Nothing. I mean,
if them Negroes over there in Mississippi start burning crosses on their yard,
it is what it is. I think
I'm gonna move on from that, because
I think for me, it's one of those things when people show you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
Really simple. And it's been that way for years. So I don't see anything changing at this point. So kudos to the Democrats, and they came out victorious last evening in the off-year elections, and we'll most definitely have some more updates in the future.
So Thaddeus, ending on that, what do you think about Biden? I mean, it's a big win for the Democrats. We're looking good.
It's a big. You have to also realize that the one thing that's holding Biden back is his age.
Yes.
Biden has done I personally feel as if, as far as what he's done since he's been in office, has been for the better of the country.
Right.
Everyone tends to hop on his age. keep in mind Biden is just 3 years older than Trump. You understand what I'm saying? Then they want to talk about Biden, the crime family.
I'm
You
sorry, I
want
couldn't
to
mess with my hair. I got a new weave.
you want to compare Biden, the crime family, to Trump's the crime family? Make it make sense.
Who said that?
No, that's what I read this thing earlier today, and they was talking
Oh.
about Biden, the crime family. I'm like, so what is Trump family?
I'm gonna say they created crime.
Okay, I'm
I
like,
mean,
so
shoot, it's all white collar crime. So
exactly.
I mean,
So
a crime is a crime, just like a sin is a sin.
I will say this: do I think Biden is the strongest person for the party at this time? He's not. But I will say, for me, I am dedicated and I will support him.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, who are other choices? So I
Exactly.
wish Kamala Harris would run.
Now, that they would never let that happen, and you know why?
Okay. So, all right. So, congratulations again to the Democrats. Deliberate discussions. We're going to keep you guys updated. But the thing we have to remember, 2024 is one of the most important elections. Every election is important, but please get out there, register to vote. Children that are 16, 17 year old, you guys can pre-register to vote for when you do turn 18, so you'll be ready for the 2028 election. But this is a very important election coming up in 2024, so we need everybody to rally each other to get out there and vote. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican Party or Democrat Party. Let's get our people to the polls and vote, 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 vote. That's it.
And I'll say this because I know we do have some viewers that are Republicans, and my thing is, I've said this previously: all Republicans are not bad Republicans. We just do totally different views.
That's true.
And to the ones that probably upset that we never speak on the Republicans because we always talk Democrat. It's our platform.
That's right.
If you want to talk about Republicans, get your own.
Come on, or either come on here and talk about it. We're not going to argue. This is not a platform where we're debating. I mean, our opinion is our opinion, and those of you that have a different opinion, we welcome you on the show.
I would love to have amazing a debate with the Republican. Oh, but anyway, let's go.
Let me get my friend off of that because Bilal done got all worked up on this, I'm sure too. So we're gonna leave Bilal alone. Okay. On to the third item on our docket, and I get kind of emotional on this. We're going to talk about the young man Elijah Javon McClain. Elijah McClain, he was a 23-year-old African American man from Aurora, Colorado, and he was killed as he was walking home from a convenience store. 3 police officers, and I want you all to please back this up, rewind it, whatever you have to do, but I want these names embedded, these 5 names I'm going to call. I want these names remembered along with the name Elijah McClain. 3 police officers, Nathan Woodyard, Jason Rosenblatt, and Randy Rodema. That's right, little man. That's right. That's right, little man. That's right. Remember those names. Get them.
That's all little man do. He don't pay.
Okay, look. Okay, see, little man feeling me. 2 paramedics, Jeremy Cooper and Peter Cichunik. Am I pronouncing it right? Cichuniec. They were all involved in the tragedy that led to this young man's death. This is a child. And go ahead with the backstory on this, Patrick.
I will say this honestly, it's one of those stories where it's very difficult for me to talk about as well because this kid was innocent. This kid was innocent. Not only was this kid innocent, this kid had some underlying issues. And what happened to this young man just wasn't right. And I personally feel as if justice was definitely not served for this kid. He was walking. Excuse me. The kid was walking from. I'm sorry, Vicky. It's
very difficult.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where.
To our viewers, we do apologize. I thought I had this out of my system for the last.
I feel for the family because it's just like, and even for a mother to have to go through this.
Yeah. And the thing is, she moved Shireen McLean. She moved her Shanine McLean. She moved her kids from Denver, Colorado to Aurora, Colorado to
Correct,
escape the violence and the gang activity.
correct.
Um,
And he was
but
walking.
the backstory on this is this young man, he was walking home from a convenience store,
Correct,
and the paramedics they struggled with him, and they ended up sustaining him, arresting him, had his hands behind his back and everything. Um, he was forced to the ground and he was held down while his hands were behind his back.
correct. And they gave
Um,
him
what harm could he do? And this kid, I'm looking at him. He can't be more than 135 pounds soaking wet.
correct. So when the police subdued him, um, and the paramedics came up, they gave him that dose of
Ketamine.
ketamine to
Yeah,
calm him down, but it was way too much for the kid.
yeah. And for our viewers that don't,
Mhm.
ketamine, it's used it's a sedation. It's used basically in medical anesthesia for
Uh-huh.
when you're going to have surgery. It's also used for pain management. They give it to people that mostly have been in car accidents, that um, have, chronic back pain, injuries, that they can hardly deal with. But ketamine, it's also sometimes used it's used for depression as well, sometimes in
Yeah,
small doses.
correct. So when
Um,
Elijah, when he arrived, he went into cardiac arrest after they gave it to him.
yes,
And 3 days after arriving at the hospital, he was declared brain dead and
yes.
removed some from life support on August 30th. um,
Now, the initial autopsy, it was inconclusive, the initial autopsy,
uh-huh.
and the cause of death was then listed as undetermined. However, because of a lawsuit that was filed by, check this out, news agencies, there was an amended autopsy report that was released on September 2022, and it listed the cause of death as complications of ketamine administration following forcible
Restraint.
restraint. Those are facts.
Now, keep in mind, Vicky, there was still no absolute no legal base to stop,
None,
restrain, or frisk him.
none, none. And get this: the officers all claimed that their body cams were knocked off during a struggle. What struggle? This young man had his hands behind his back. It took three of y'all to subdue this young man. Come on, listen. The officers, you are there to serve and protect. The paramedics, you took an oath, first do no harm. You guys failed this young man. You failed his family. You failed his friends. You failed the community.
He was actually failed way before then because the prosecutor was not going to bring the
No,
case.
another thing.
The
Yes.
prosecutor was not going to bring the case, but the prosecutor failed into pressure because of the community in the Black Lives Matter
Yep.
movement.
Yep.
So
That's
this
true.
case was doomed from the beginning, you
Yep.
know, which is really, really, really sad that this little guy, 135 pounds soaking wet, actually went through this,
Look at
and
this child on our screen.
correct. And
That's
for the
that's
young man, the police officer to be found not guilty.
my baby is older than this little young
Mhm.
man, and that is what's so heartbreaking. I worry about my child, all my children, even my nieces and my nephews, that something like this is going to happen to them. This is so very sad.
Yeah.
Um, but on to in September 2021, the three officers Woodward, Rosenblatt, and Rodema, and the two paramedics Cooper and Chichunik, they were arrested and charged through a Colorado grand jury with manslaughter and other lesser charges for the death of Elijah McClain. Elijah McClain. On October 12th of this year, a month ago, less than a month ago,
Mhm.
Rodema was found guilty on charges of criminally negligent homicide and assault, while Rosenblatt was acquitted on all charges against him,
Correct.
including the reckless manslaughter and the assault.
So the one that was found guilty, was he the first one that came in contact with him?
No, actually, from what I understand, Officer Nathan Woodward is the first one that came in contact with him.
Okay.
So Rosenblatt was second on the scene, and then Rodema, he was supposedly the last. But again, the body cams were not on,
Okay.
so we don't really know. There's another trial prosecuting Nathan Woodyard to begin. It began on Tuesday, October 17th, and Woodyard, who had been found not guilty on Monday, November 6th. A third trial is scheduled to begin in November to prosecute the paramedics. So, deliberate discussions. We're gonna keep our viewers posted on the outcome of that. But I just want to say this to the family and the friends of Elijah McClain. Deliberate discussions. We stand with you. We stand with you in your fight, and I'm just gonna give kudos to Colorado Governor Jared Polis, who ordered a reexamination of the case. 5 days later, photos that were taken in October 2019, it showed the officers posing inappropriately,
Correct,
and reenacting the carotid restraint used on Elijah McClain. Now, the carotid restraint, if you don't know, is the neck. Okay, your carotid arteries are in your neck. They gave this man, first of all, you got this man in a carotid restraint. He already, his breathing slowing down because of what you have.
Is that the same restraint they put Eric Garner in New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So my thing is, the paramedics gave him ketamine. I don't know what's worse, ketamine or cocaine. They use both of them to put you to sleep for surgery.
Correct.
It's sad. And just to give our viewers a little bit on Elijah, at the time of his death, he was a massage therapist for about 4 years. He lived in an apartment with a cousin of his that's close to where he was stopped by the police. I mean, like within walking distance. He'd never been arrested or charged with any crime. His family and friends described him as a spiritual seeker, a pacifist, sort of an oddball. And I can see, I mean, he looks kind of nerdy. He's so cute. He was a vegetarian, an athlete, and peacemaker who was exceedingly gentle. He looked exceedingly gentle.
Very quiet kid.
Yeah. And I mean, his mother made a statement. She said she knew Elijah was, that when he was smaller, he was homeschooled, and she could see at an early age that he was intellectually gifted, but fiercely independent. While he was a teenager, he taught himself to play violin and guitar. During his lunch breaks, he took his instruments to animal shelters and played for the abandoned animals, believing that music put them at ease.
Oh, that was so.
I cried when I found that piece.
This innocent kid lost his life for nothing
at the hands of people who are supposed to serve and protect us.
Correct.
And at people who took an oath to first do no harm.
Correct. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, rest in peace, Elijah.
Yes.
Whew. Yeah.
But I don't know. Okay. All right. So keep Elijah McClain's family and friends in your prayers. And that's what we're going to do here at Deliberate Discussions. And again, we will keep you guys posted on this. We will revisit and give you the updates on the 2 paramedics that are scheduled to go on trial. Okay. Thadric, let's move on to our 4th agenda here. Can you give us an update on the immigrant situation in Chicago? Because I have, and let me just say this. First of all, there are 5 sanctuary cities in the entire United States. You have New York, Denver, New York, Denver. Help me out, friend.
Chicago,
New
Chicago.
York, Denver, Chicago.
Um,
Hold on, let me find my notes.
Hell, but I feel like we getting all of them.
Los Angeles, Houston, and Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're getting most of them. So
okay, so for the most part, Chicago and New York. Now, before I let you give me that update on Chicago, Thaddeus, let me just tell you what I found that the people are saying. Let me just read this on New York. New York City is already limiting the cost of housing migrants and asylum seekers in shelters by evicting single adults after 60 days. This is what they're doing in New York. It's a dubious legal move, however, but given the city's right to shelter requirement, which is being challenged in court now, but that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the city, they typically receive tens of thousands of new arrivals each year, but since spring of 2022, the numbers have been rising especially quickly. More than 118,000 migrants and asylum seekers, most who all came from Latin America and the Caribbean, have arrived after crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. So, and while a large majority of the New Yorkers say the immigrants bring new vitality to the country, current migrants want only to build a better life. Now, they reject the suggestion that immigrants want handouts or that they bring crime or drugs.
Yeah. So, the sad thing is, what I like, it's especially here in Chicago with dealing with the migrant issue, is that every time something happens, like if one of them get arrested for something, one of them was caught stealing, it's like, see, this is why they don't need to be here. I'm confused. But crime happens every minute in the city of Chicago where we're killing and robbing each other. But y'all have a problem with these immigrants. Here in Chicago, of course, we're busting at the seams. Not only are we busting at the seams, it's cold as hell out the door. Okay. So the city's in an uproar. I mean, a complete uproar. But I am going to share this video with you. So just give me 1 second. All right. Can you see that?
Let's talk about the money that is being spent. I think that there needs to be a federal audit against the company that we have contracted out to take care of the migrants. We have nurses that are being paid $64,000 a month. We have security officers that are being paid as much as $24,000 a month. We have home health care workers that are being paid up to $17,000 a month. You don't think that Chicagoans could have benefited from that? We have citizens in this city that have been on the waiting list for affordable housing for years, and migrants have been bumped in front of them. We have people who have been given up to $9,000 a month for housing assistance. That amount of money can be life-changing for some families here in the city of Chicago. We are not anti-migrant. We do sympathize with them. But what I am pro-black. I am for my people who have been mistreated, who have been marginalized, who have been disrespected. And it is disrespectful for people to expect us to give up our parks and our schools and places in our community for others. We're not saying that there's not room here, but what we are saying is that we are not going to step aside for you to accommodate them when you have continued to leave us out of the equation. So I'm not just talking to Brandon Johnson right now. I'm talking to Governor Pritzker, and I'm talking to President Biden. And I want you to understand that as we run into this upcoming political year, where the Democratic Party is on the menu, hear me. People of Chicago, of Illinois, and of the United States, it is time for us as black people to stop voting party. It is time for us to stop voting color. It is time for us to start voting our self-interest. And if the Democrats in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, and the country of USA refuses to listen to us, then it is time for us to start looking at other alternatives. People, we are looking at other alternatives. We will not step aside and continue to be mistreated. We will not continue to be disrespected. I'm looking at people who are coming here from another country, giving work visas, giving social security cards. Nobody is asking them what walk of life that they come from. You don't think that our brothers who have been in prison, who have come out and who have changed their lives, will benefit for the same opportunities that we're giving these migrants? And I'm not saying that they don't deserve those opportunities, but what I am saying is we deserve them first. What I am saying is you can't continue to put us on the back burner and think that we're going to continue to be okay with it. We've done that for long enough. And what we're saying here today is that it's no longer acceptable. We're saying to our city, we're saying to our governor that you're not going to continue to set monies aside for people who don't live here and disrespect, mistreat, and forget about us. You've forgotten about us. You have treated us as if we don't matter. And we're saying to you, you're not going to continue to do this. We're saying to you to see us. You're dumping people into our communities who are going to at some point move us out of the way. And what I say to you, if you want a glimpse into what's going to happen, look at how people of color are being treated in Venezuela right now. We seem to forget that Venezuela was one of the first places that had African slaves that they were taken to. We're forgetting about that. And so we're forgetting that there are blacks in Venezuela who are being treated the same way we are. And so for us to expect that they're going to come here and be put into our society and treat us differently is a pipe dream.
So you asked how things are going in Chicago? Now, baby, I don't know who that woman is, but I swear to God, I want to meet her. You hear what I say?
Listen, you just broke down basically everything that I did my research on. Where did you get that clip from?
I got that clip off of TikTok because, you know, when I'm sitting here doing our research, I found it on TikTok. So remember a few weeks ago when I told you about the audits of where the funding was going. So the numbers that she spoke about in the beginning, when she started in the beginning of the video, came from the audit. So it's factual information, all this money that's going out. So there needs to be some accountability with the funds. Brandon Johnson, our mayor, recently went down to Washington, D.C. to meet with the Biden administration to request more funds to hire these, to house these immigrants. Now, where the problem comes in at, it's only the Black community that's up in an uproar, and they have a right to be, because the city wants to dump these immigrants in Black communities.
Exactly.
It's not happening on the north side. It's not happening over here on the northwest side where I live. It's not happening in the suburbs. You know, those areas are protected because of you know what.
I live in St. Charles, so I know.
Exactly. So the African Americans, like, they want to place these, build these camps inside these parks and all this stuff. So you're taking away from the community and doing this. And so I understand why they're so upset, because, and like she said, you haven't even put these funds in our own community.
Exactly. And I was doing my research. It says the state of Illinois is providing $38 million and the city another $4 million to give migrants temporary rental assistance. Brandon Johnson has proposed budgets $150 million in the next Chicago budget to care for the migrants, but that amount is less than half of what migrant care costs in 2023. So you're saying $150 million is not enough? It's not enough.
And now keep in mind, He wants all this money to put into the immigrant situation. Where was the same request from the former mayors to put that type of money into those communities?
So where's the fairness in all of that? I
Correct.
mean,
There's no fairness.
I,
But
I mean,
what
I've seen the videos. I mean, it's cold now.
correct.
It's cold.
But let me say this, Vicky, because what I don't want to do is I will say I disagree with the handling of the situation by the city of
Mhm,
Chicago. Okay. But I also understand that this situation was created by the federal government.
mhm.
It was not created by the city of Chicago. The
No, it
city of
was
Chicago
not.
just dropped the ball
It
in
was
handling
dropped
it.
in his. It was dropped
It
in
was dropped in his
Chicago's
lap,
lap.
and his administration has totally screwed up the handling of the situation. Okay. Um, can they get it better? I do feel as if they can get it better if they listen to the community.
Now, and let me just say this: Texas and California, they top the list of states receiving refugees.
Correct.
But why are they busing a majority of these immigrants to these sanctuary cities? Like, I mean, honestly, is Miami going to become a sanctuary city? Is
No,
Jacksonville, Orlando, um, or you know,
no.
Texas is a big state. Texas and California are big states.
Typically, the only places that's becoming these sanctuary cities are Democratic ran cities. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why the governor of Texas is shipping these people everywhere he can because we're open. We welcome them. You understand what
Mhm,
I'm saying?
mhm.
So it's one of those things you got to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, most
Where you
definitely.
have the governor and the mayor of New York, the governor and the mayor of Illinois, of Chicago, that was like, okay, yeah, we'll take them, we'll take them. Well, okay, you're gonna take them, we're gonna send them there, and we're gonna continue to send these busloads of people there for you guys to house and to deal with. Now, before we move on, I will say this: I went out yesterday because I wanted to try to get some footage for the show at one of our police departments. They are all out sleeping on the ground. It's freezing cold. They're intense. And also, I wanted to see what their needs were so I could give them some stuff because Josh and I have so much stuff in our house, clothes and shoes that we don't wear, which I was gonna donate to Salvation Army or something. But we got a group of people here that can use this stuff. So speaking with two of them on yesterday, it was like we need clothes, we need shoes, and things like that. So we're gonna get some stuff together now. I will say I'm really proud of the community because you have people that's constantly going by these areas and dropping off food, clothes,
Mhm.
shoes, necessities, and things like that. So the community is pulling together to take care of these immigrants, and that's a wonderful thing to me.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Are they allowing the immigrants, like I know during the winter times, they usually open up the precincts for people to come in. They have the warming buses. Are they allowing the immigrants to leave the hotel shelters and go out on their own now into this
Yeah.
cold? What about the babies, the kids?
Well, I see it every day. There's a shelter that's a hotel that's in a hotel that's down a
Yep,
couple
right down
doors
the
from
street.
the shop.
Yeah.
So I see it every day. They're out with the babies and the strollers and things like that. And it's cold down there on that lake. Um, they are bringing in the buses now where they letting them sleep on the buses, which I mean I will say, and that's why I feel as if the situation could be turned around because the city's trying.
Mhm.
They're trying to do the best they can with what they have. Um, Brandon Johnson most definitely needs to just wrap his hands around of how he deals with the community because when the community does not feel heard, you only going to be a one-time mayor.
Yeah. Is it true that he says he wants to open up a grocery store chain in Chicago?
I've heard that.
We're gonna do some more research on that because I don't know. I thought Brandon Johnson was the right person for Chicago, but Bilal says he's
Bilal
voting
said he
him
voting Brandon Johnson out. I don't know who he voting for in this house.
out. Okay, Bilal,
Okay.
vote Thaddeus Parker for mayor.
And Bilal is so emotional. He's basing his vote on
I picked up on Bilal last night. Emotionalist.
it's one situation that he's basing his vote on. This man just got in office less than a year ago. Give a man a chance.
Yeah, they dropped this in his lap. I feel sorry for Brandon Johnson, but Thaddeus, on another note, to our viewers in Chicago, from what I understand from one of my friends there I was talking to, there is a special city council meeting that's scheduled for tomorrow morning to decide if there should be a referendum on Chicago's sanctuary city designation on next spring's ballot. Some aldermen want voters to decide if Chicago should remain a sanctuary city. So again, that meeting is Thursday morning. I'll post where it's going to be because I totally forgot. I wrote it down real quick. But
I think it's sad that it's come to that, Vicky, because our country was built on immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is, you don't want them to stay around you, but you want them to do work for you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So being a Black man, I know what it feels like to feel like nobody wants you around. You understand? Or you are a problem. So the fact that these immigrants are being made to feel like they're a problem, they're in the way, we don't want them here, and now the Ottomans now have to vote on if, you know, Chicago will remain a sanctuary city. That is absolutely ridiculous to me.
It's absurd. It really is.
I mean, so many different neighborhoods of different type of immigrants in this city. It's insane. So the fact that we've gotten to that point, and I don't know if you noticed, but a huge fight broke out at the city hall meeting last week.
I heard about that.
And the woman was assaulted or whatever, and it was just a whole big mess because of the whole fight about the immigrant thing. It starts from the top. Let me use myself as an example. I am the leader at my job. I am the boss, okay? If my team is in an uproar, if there's a fight, if they're going at it, I've dropped the ball somewhere. Okay. So in that situation where it's such an uproar at City Hall, at the meetings, that's Brandon Johnson's responsibility.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I feel for the city of Chicago. I mean, the city council, they appropriated what, 51 million for the migrant services. Soon the state government is also going to provide another 43 million in taxpayer funding.
Correct.
To care for the migrants as part of its fiscal 2024 budget.
Correct. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll keep you updated. Every day things change right here. I can tell you right now, when I turn on the 10 o'clock news night, I have something else to tell you about.
I know I'm gonna get that text message late at night. Look, I know it's gonna come. Listen, friend, I think, what do? We exchange probably about 1,000, maybe 1,500 text messages a week.
People, if they only knew what we talk, but we
talk. Oh my God. It's not even all about this, but
correct. But you know what? My thing is, like, every morning when I'm going to work, and there's sometimes when I leave home at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I pass by this one particular police department, and I see all these immigrants out there sleep on this cold ground, on tents and everything. It just bothers my heart. I said, I swear to God, one day Josh gonna come home from work and I'm gonna have about 3 families.
Hey friend, get that 9,000 a month, okay? Get that 9,000. You hear me? Listen, you can pay me 2 G's a month and I'll take care of them while you and Josh at work, okay?
We got all these rooms. We got all these. Look at him. He's my here. Take it. We got all these rooms in this house, and there's 2 people.
Look, little man gonna be the bodyguard. I'm a cook, and I ain't gonna clean behind him now. But you know, little man, we gonna hold the fort down. Just give me the basement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen,
Deliberate Discussions is gonna continue to monitor this immigrant crisis in Chicago, New York, and all the other sanctuary states. I know it seems like we only talk about Chicago, but we did add New York on. Again, there's Denver, what others? Houston and Los Angeles.
But you know, what I will do is I want to look further into Denver and see how they're handling this situation, because I haven't heard any national news on their situation.
But did you notice that they're putting these people in all of the cold, like, states? Chicago, New York, Denver, Houston, everything except LA. Like LA, it never. I mean, does it get cold in LA? I know it does. Like, you know,
LA, and I hate to say it, but LA's kind of used to it because they have Skid Row, which is a whole area of homeless people. So they do have that, you know. So they've always, you know, handled their situation. But I'm gonna do some more research, and we'll most definitely follow up on that.
Most definitely. Okay, viewers, you heard it right here on the Discussions. That is going to keep you updated. We'll definitely monitor this immigrant situation. Hopefully, all these states can get a hold on it. Okay,
Vicky,
so Thaddeus.
Vicky, let me ask you this question. I mean, I know we're at the 10 minute mark. Do you want to talk about the next one briefly and then go into
Oh yeah. Oh, we
Okay.
wanted to that last one.
Okay.
We wanted to that last one.
So go ahead and start the next one.
Did you get my notes on the last one though?
I'm gonna let you take the lead because
Okay.
Okay.
Because
I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Okay. All right. So really quick, we're just gonna touch on the mass shootings. All I have to say is there have been 3 stories. There have been 4 mass shootings. However, only one of those mass shootings made it to headline news.
National news.
National news.
Correct.
And that is the one in Maine. There have been mass shootings October 29th, right here in the state of Florida, Ybor City. Mass shooting. Look it up.
And that one, you had 2 people that died there, and at least 16 were injured in the weekend at Ybor City shooting in Orlando.
48-year-old man and a 14-year-old boy died at Ybor City. I love Ybor City in Tampa.
Correct.
Okay. Jacksonville, August 26th of this year. 3 people were fatally shot by a gunman in a mass shooting that took place at the Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida. Authorities identified, that's when we brought you this story before.
Correct.
Ryan Christopher Palmatier as the gunman, described as a 21-year-old white male. Everybody claimed mental illness. Okay. Lewiston, Maine, October 25th. 40-year-old Robert Card fatally shot 18 people and injured 13 others during a shooting spree at 2 locations in Lewiston, Maine. President Biden visited Maine. I ain't heard nothing about President Biden coming to Florida. Jacksonville and Tampa.
He didn't come to Chicago for the one on Halloween here.
And that is the last one, the one on Halloween. And you guys, if you are not familiar with that story for the one on Halloween, if you go to Instagram, there's a video posted there by a comedian. He's well known as Skinbone. It shows just how packed that event on that Halloween party was that night, and he stated that he did promote the party for that. But what it is at least 15 people were hurt. 2 were critically hurt in a mass shooting at a Halloween party in Chicago's West Side on Halloween weekend. The ages of the victims range from 26 to 53. 2 people, a 26-year-old woman and a 48-year-old man, were taken to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition. 13 others are in good condition. And this one happened just after 1 a.m. near Pulaski. I know people don't know where that's at, but I know where Pulaski is.
Yeah, so it's on the west side here in Chicago.
Yeah, I know where that is in Chicago. They did capture a suspect, and they did recover a weapon. Not sure if that's the weapon that was used in the shooting, but apparently the man had gotten drunk and unruly. He was thrown out of the party. They refused to let him in. He allegedly got upset, went to his car, got a gun, and started popping off.
Yep, and this man was a convicted felon, should not have even had a gun.
And they better not holler no damn mental illness.
And exactly. That's why I was just like, all these stories, the media as well as the police are always, the first thing they say is mental illness. It's like, why? Now, I will say
that's the new thing.
Yeah, it is the new thing. I will say the man in Maine, there was a few issues that he had, but the military bears some responsibility because they were aware of previous issues with him and interactions with him, and it was never reported. So I'm waiting to see what liability they have in that, and even the police was aware of the previous issues that this gentleman had as well.
And I'm gonna say this: Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, he did release a statement calling for gun reform in the city of Chicago. So we just wanted to touch on that, why none of those other stories made headline national news. So, but you heard it here on Deliberate Discussion. So please, rewind this, look at it, whatever you got to do. But as with all gun violence all over the country, Deliberate Discussions, we send our heartfelt prayers to the victims, the families, and all the communities impacted by this. We need to tighten up the gun laws. Ron DeSantis, I hope you listening, and I hope somebody send you this video. Okay, but Florida is not the place. You need to rethink that gun law.
Yeah, that is bad.
All right, now, okay, let's get on to our last and final discussion on the docket.
So before I play this video, I want to give a disclaimer. The views of this video that we're going to play is concerning something that a conversation about the situation that's going on in Israel, Gaza. The views in this video is not the views of deliberate discussion.
Yes.
Okay. This are the views of the people that's discussing this conversation in this video. So I want to be very clear that this is not the views of deliberate discussions, although we do have something to say about the video. So what do you have to say?
Ray, I ain't gonna say that. Play the video.
Okay, all right.
There has been a lack of nuance in the conversation when you talk about Israel and Palestine, to the point where you cannot be critical of the government of Israel's actions without someone calling you anti-Semitic, which some would argue is crazy, because we can be critical of the United States of America and understanding we're criticizing the United States of America, not the people.
Like, so how can you have a nuance? That's their position. They're not like, let's get along.
Well,
They're like, hold on, Simone, hold on.
No, I just want to be
no,
clear.
stop. They want to end.
You're jumping, and this is what I'm talking about.
I'm not jumping.
I am saying there are people that are advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people. No, I'm not talking about Hamas. The rights of the Palestinian people. Every Palestinian is not Hamas.
Simone,
and so because there is a lack of nuance in the conversation, because anytime I introduce anything that says we should look at these folks as people, you automatically jump to
Simone, I'm not saying you should look at them as people.
Okay.
Do you denounce terrorism like that? Do you denounce Hamas?
I'm not going to engage with
Simone,
this.
it's a simple question.
Of course, Simone.
That's a question that should not even be asked, because it has been answered.
Stop.
No, you stop. Because suggesting, do you denounce terrorism? Do you denounce hate? Do you still support Donald Trump? The audacity.
There's no audacity.
This is what I'm talking about.
Well,
Destruction of the other.
This is clearly
Hamas
representative of the passions on this issue. I will say I've spent a lot of time in the region, and
so have I, Jen.
and I know you have, and I've spent a lot of time on Democratic platforms. This is not new. This has been evolving over the course of time, and it represents the fact
the fissures you're talking about, the divisions in the Democratic Party.
Divisions, but also the desire to have a more nuanced conversation. Nobody's defending Hamas. Nobody's defending terrorism. The question is, can you be sympathetic to the Palestinian people while also being defenders of Israel and funding Israel? The positions of Rashida Tlaib, they're not representative of all the Democrats who want to have that conversation. They certainly are not. But there is an evolving view, and a view that this needs to be a broader conversation that isn't just always defending Israel at all costs. And that's what you're seeing, I think, play out here.
Okay, I'll start. Let me tell y'all this. All black people ain't the damn same. All black people ain't criminals.
Come on.
Just like she said, all Palestinians ain't goddamn Hamas.
Hello.
Terry, okay? But I'll say this. Simone and whatchamacallit, the white lady, said this, Jen Psaki said the same exact thing, just two different ways. The white man on the stage interrupted, overtalked, and disrespected Simone. But when the white woman spoke, he sat there and listened.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me, Thaddeus? Because I don't know what this is.
I can hear you clearly. Go ahead on.
Got to be more careful.
I can hear you.
I don't know who this is calling me. And
That's fine.
It's coming through
your laptop as well. But I can hear you clearly. So the fact that he would not listen to Simone in her proving her point or getting to her point, but he would listen to Jen.
Mm-hmm.
As a black woman, what do you make of that, friend?
As a black woman, first of all, let me tell people who Simone is, honey. Simone D. Sanders Townsend. She's an American political strategist and a political commentator. She served as National Press Secretary for the Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, no relation. And that was during the 2016 campaign. She has a book called No, You Shut Up. Speaking the truth. Speaking truth to power and reclaiming America. Let me tell you something about this sister. Now that motherfucker, excuse me, I said I wasn't gonna do that.
Don't cuss, friend.
That man, D. Whiteman, He clearly interrupted that sister. But yet, when Jen came on, he was quiet.
Very quiet.
See,
listen.
It's people like him, his little punk ass, that tries to keep a sister down. Now, see, I done tried to keep my calm on him, but I want to run into his pussy ass. Excuse me.
But you know, the thing about it, he's always on. He's a political commentator as well.
He is, and I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. He has no respect. He has no respect for women in general, especially Black women with what?
Correct. And with the brain. And the thing is, what got me, like Simone was saying, all Palestinians are not Hamas. Which and it goes back to the point that I'm saying, all Black people are not criminals.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to make this point in his head that everybody that's over there in Gaza is a terrorist.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like over here, I mean, you got Muslims and Jews getting along over here. The hate doesn't have to spread. I mean, you're gonna denounce everything about the Palestinians, and we're not. Let me just say this, like Thaddeus said, Deliberate Discussions is not here to talk about the discussion that was going on. It's about the respect and the disrespect that this man showed to this Black woman. And this is a very smart Black woman. If y'all haven't read her book, if you ain't listened to it, please go out and get the book. It's called No, You Shut Up.
And let me say this other thing, Vicky, because you and I spoke about this a couple of days ago. You know, and you know how I feel about this whole situation. It's very unfortunate what's going on over there. But he proved my point.
He did. He did.
The same thing that's going on over there and where they fighting at and acting a fool. We have the same problems here in our country, baby.
Right here.
And he just said on that thing and proved that, okay, that we ain't nothing. We don't get to speak. Our opinion does not matter. I'm not going to listen to you. You understand what I'm saying?
We're irrelevant.
Exactly. We're not relevant at all. So it's just like, what? I literally had to watch that video like 5 times because I could not believe. I wasn't just the total disrespect for what Simone was saying.
I couldn't watch it anymore. Like I literally like almost threw my phone. Like my other iPhone, I cracked it because I clicked it off and I just threw it thinking I'm throwing it on the chair, but it actually hit the floor. Correct. And I cracked it because I was mad about that. I don't like that.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I don't like that.
It was hard. I was like, wow.
And she's a very smart young woman.
Extremely smart. Simone has her own show on MSNBC. She previously worked for Kamala Harris, but when she got her show on MSNBC, she actually focused more on that because, you know, she does have a journalist background and she's a very strong, powerful Black woman. And I love her.
She really
is. One thing I love about Simone, she doesn't back down. Exactly.
She can hold her own. She don't need people like me to come to her rescue and cuss that okay, because she handled herself.
Yeah,
she handled herself, and I love her to death.
There's a video. I don't know if you ever seen this.
I met him.
I don't know if you ever seen this video that was going on social media with Simone, where there was this. This is when Don Lemon was still on CNN, and there was this Black guy that was just Republican that always spoke, you know, kissing Trump's butt and everything. And when I tell you Simone let that man have it so bad, Jesus, I say, damn. But I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Listen, sis can read now.
She did. She
can read them. Like
when I tell you, it was so funny because everybody that was on the panel just fell out laughing. It was a Black guy. His name is Paris.
But she be so serious. That's what I love about her. Like, bro, I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and you're gonna listen regardless. You're gonna hear me. You can talk over me if you want to.
Exactly.
But anyway, y'all go and look up Simone Sanders Townsend. Wonderful spokesperson. She's got a show on MSNBC. You gotta tune in. She's wonderful. I love her.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, that kind of wraps it up. I do want to say this before I go. I am working I have my HP on this side. If y'all wonder why I keep on looking over there, I'm looking at the comments. But my co-host, the most magnificent co-host in all the entire world, on any live stream, TV show, radio show, podcast, Cedric and Joshua, I love you guys for my MacBook. I am live streaming from my MacBook, and I named her Taj for Cedric and Josh.
If y'all haven't noticed, Vicky her sound hasn't went out. She has this.
Okay, at all.
Y'all have heard her clearly tonight because my friend is a part of the Mac family now.
Yes, I gotta show them this little case that you sent it in to protect it. It's so cute. Look at this.
So
oh my God, I love this. This is so cute. Thank you for my MacBook.
I actually donated my old MacBook that I was no longer using to my co-host.
Brand new.
And so I mean, although it's used, it's new to her, and I'm glad that she loves it. I had not used a MacBook in some time because my fiance actually bought me an amazing brand new MacBook Pro that I'm on. So
I love you guys so much.
So I'm glad that you like it, friend, and you look good tonight, girl. We can hear you and everything.
I look good too. I just got me some new hair. I have a little short wig made, you know.
But you know, I have a heart of gold, and I will do anything for you. And if I got it, you got it. You know how I am.
You already know how we roll.
Yeah. So
okay, we don't even have to talk about it. But you know, this episode of Deliberate Discussion has been awesome.
Let's promote the advertising one more time before we go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I thought it. There you go. There you go.
I can't see it, Patrick.
It's up there. You see it?
Okay. So here we go. Before we leave tonight, remember, if you need promo, if you want to advertise, you can advertise right here on Deliberate Discussions. You can promote your business. You can promote a product. You can promote your event that's coming up. I'm going to give some free promo for the moment right now. This Saturday, Lolly Hutchison has a camouflage party going on at Bamboo Room in Lake Worth. I will be in attendance. So if you guys want promo, please hand me one of your business cards. Give me a call, 561-325-1488 for additional pricing. We will be more than happy to promote your business, your event, or your product right here on Deliberate Discussions Live each and every Wednesday with Vicky Horton and Cedric Parker. Shout out to Maria Marshall Bean with Document Solutions Print and Copy Services. Please give her a shout. Her phone number is 561-768-1446. 313 Southeast 5th Street in Delray Beach. Maria.Marshall-Bean@outlook.com, or you can search it for Google. DCJ Notary and Business Services. She offers print, copy, color, black and white copies, scans, email, faxes, binders, manuals, and she also offers notary services, remote online notary. I'm a notary, but I'm not an online notary. Mm-hmm. Residential, commercial closings, permits, I-9 verifications for immigrants or whatever you need, power of attorneys, wills, trust notarizations, foreclosure verification of occupancy. She does that all. Please contact Document Solutions, Print and Copy Services. We will be posting this flyer on our personal pages, and we will be running this flyer for however long she needs us to. Okay, so with that being said, to our viewers, thank you so very much for tuning in to another episode of Deliberate Discussions. I am your co-host, Vicky Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Cedric Parker. Thank you so much, friend. It's been an amazing show.
I love you.
You all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to Deliberate Discussions.
Good night.